Hi everyone! My name is Marisa, but you all can call me Mars, and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Yay! Honestly, I'm really nervous, but I'm super excited to see where this journey goes. And yeah, I just want to tell you guys who I am and where I hope to be. I am the founder and owner of Midnight Bloom, a small custom embroidery business that has entered the niche of custom embroidery for anime merchandise. With this, there has been so many steps to get me here, but I hope I can share them with you so you all can know a little bit more about me and also where I hope to be in the next couple of years. I essentially started my business in August of 2025, and so far I have done some artisan markets. I have also went to my first anime convention. The convention was Animeverse Pittsburgh. Super fun, and I'll do a separate video explaining more details on that. But I've also sold at 3 or 4 local markets, and I started my Etsy. Overall, such a nice experience I have had so far. Although it took me a lot to get here, I'm now in a position where I feel pretty good. So let me tell you how it all began. I grew up with my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle, and my dad, and we all lived in the same house. My grandma is an educator, but she is retired now. She used to be very involved in helping students with performances or just going the extra mile to make sure that they were feeling good about themselves. So for one of the performances, she was involved in a flocorico performance. If you know anything about flocorico, you know it involves beautiful skirts and outfits that accentuate the movements that they are doing. Here's a photo of a flocorico skirt, and you'll see that these are super beautiful, super elegant, and very colorful. So this is actually the first time that I've ever seen my grandma really focus on a sewing project that didn't involve just fixing some clothes or patching some pants. So my grandma and we went to the fabric store. We bought a lot of fabric, we bought some garnish accessories for the skirts, and we spent about 2 weeks making these skirts for the performances. I ended up getting a free one out of it, but I also saved some of the fabric that was left over, the scraps, and I started to use it for my doll. When I was very small, I would make like small little clothes for it, and I would just create different designs. And trust me, I'm not a professional sewer, but at the age of 10 to like 12, I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. So ever since then, I've just been drawing different designs and seeing what looks nice and envisioning my idea on paper, and that's really it. That's all I did growing up. I just drew things out that I thought would look cute, and I left them there. Fast forward after high school, I get into a really good college, Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I moved all the way from California to Pennsylvania. Big jump, especially during COVID, and would I have done things differently? Probably so. But nonetheless, I ended up going out there, and although I did have some fun and I worked and sustained myself as an adult, I was really depressed during that time. I ended up dropping out of college and living with my boyfriend at the time. So with all of this going on, I'm thinking, how can I make myself better? How can I elevate myself? How can I be a better person for the next day to come? And so on and so on. And one of the things that I decided was starting my own business. So at the time, I would tell my partner all of these big ideas about having a clothing business, about making anime merch, just random things. And he was not very supportive, which should have been a red flag. But when we broke up, I went to stay with a friend while I was transitioning back into college because I had dropped out, and she really encouraged me. She told me, just go for it, just do it. So during that time, I was heartbroken, preparing to go back to school. I started doing some research, and the research led me to Ricoma, where I made a very, very impulsive decision to purchase an embroidery machine. So you may be asking, why embroidery? Well, going back to my grandma's story, I knew the basics of sewing, I knew how to put things together, but I was not a seamstress at will. It would take me a really long time to create things that were really nice and to also make a business off of it. I wasn't sure how to do that. But embroidery, I felt like it was something I could learn. I knew how to do hand embroidery, so what was so different about buying a machine to do it for me? Well, there's a lot that's different. There's a lot that's different. But the point is, I was like, yeah, embroidery is perfect because then I can embroider stuff and just see how it goes. And so yeah, that's what I ended up doing. This puppy right here was $12,000. I bought it I bought it in 2022 and I decided to finance it because you may come to find out that I did not grow up with a lot of money. So I ended up financing it while I was on my way to start college again and while I was hopefully going to finish college. So I get this machine delivered to my dorm in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I start my journey. I literally unboxed my machine and put it to the side and didn't touch it for like months. I don't know how many months it was, but I didn't touch it. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. I felt like my investment was gonna go bad because I didn't know how to use my freaking machine. And yes, Ricoma does an excellent job at showing you how to use your machine, showing you how to digitize and providing all those resources. But I think there was a mental block in there that I just never got around to it. So with the time being in a past self, I just focused on school. I did really good at my studies, I excelled, and somewhere along the way I started to actually use my machine. I started to digitize small designs and I started to make sweaters for my friends and some graduation sashes, and then eventually someone asked me to be a part of a school artisan market. And this is where I fell in love with embroidery, I fell in love with production, and I fell in love with markets and interacting with people. So this is me with my very own tote bag and my very own design. I was so happy to make this design, but when I tell you that I pulled 2 all-nighters for this one market, I pulled 2 all-nighters for this market. I literally stayed up all night producing sweaters and tote bags, sweaters and tote bags. That was all on my mind. And during that, my freaking needle broke. Oh my goodness, there were so many things that there were so many things that happened because this machine is a little temperamental if you don't know how to use it correctly, which I didn't know how to use it correctly. So there was just a lot of bumps in the road, and thankfully I made enough to go to this market. I sold at this market, and then after that I had some orders continuing on. So I was getting good feedback that embroidery was durable, that my designs were cute, and that I was so nice and that people loved me. So I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. This is a great thing. To the end of my college career, December 2024, I did small things here and there with my business, but I mainly focused on school. When 2024 December came around, I had a job lined up as a neurophysiologist, and I decided to just invest more time in my business. The first couple of months of 2025 were pretty fun. I bought a lot of stuff for my business. I signed up for different markets, which was my first time doing it. I bought insurance and I learned more things about my machine. Overall, 10 out of 10 experience. I was able to go to approximately 4 local artisan markets. I did a Halloween market and a Christmas market at separate locations, and I did my first ever anime convention. Yay! That was 2 weeks ago. So I did the convention 2 weeks ago, super fun, and I do want to do a separate video breaking down the costs, what I spent, who I met, how I was treated, because it was a good experience. But anywho, I just had a good time. Yeah, I can't complain. But that doesn't mean that I haven't had lows. And I've had a lot of them with my business. So thank you guys so much for watching my first video, and I hope it provides a little bit of insight into who I am. Well, yeah, I guess that's it. That's all I can record for today. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I am still learning how to be behind a camera, how to interact really with myself and then share it with you all. So if you guys have any questions or comments for the next video, you can let me know or put it in the comments. But yeah, I hope you all will stay along with me and follow my journey and basically how I'm building my embroidery business. Bye!